Hey guys, what is going on? It is Dragoon here, and this video is going to be about how to defend Grand Bazaar on rush mode. And the reason I wanted to start off with Grand Bazaar is simply because for me, and I know a lot of you guys out there, Grand Bazaar is a particularly hard map to defend, especially when you're up against a good team who knows how to use that tank effectively, because in rush on Grand Bazaar that tank can basically win or lose the game for the attackers. So starting off in the first base, the first bit of advice I have is to play as either the recon kit or the medic kit, simply because there's no enemy armor in the first base, so you don't have to worry about putting on engineer support and trying to defeat that armor. So it's all about getting your people back alive, so that's why spawn beacons and defibrillators work really well. And for weapons, obviously you can use assault rifles if you want, but I would suggest using shotguns or PDWs and such. So that's it for the first base. The next portion is going to be for moving to the first base to the second base, so falling back. So let's move over to that one now. Okay, so here we are after losing the first two bases, the first two MCOMs in the first base, and now we're falling back to the second set of MCOMs. Now the route I'm after taking here is along the road which leads down from A and B. And what you want to do is from now until the rest of the game, basically, you want to keep on either the support kit or the engineer kit, simply because that armor, you need to deal with it, you need to get rid of it. So for me, for this game, I use the support kit. I use the RPK with a bipod laser and I think a Russian hollow. So what you want to do is go over to the place I'm showing you now, and you want to set up some C4, or if you're an engineer, just put down mines. And then you want to set up, if you're a support, obviously set up your bipod and set up on that rock. And the thing is, just make sure the car behind you is exploded, because I've had many occasions where the car wasn't exploded, and then of course an enemy with a lucky frag or lucky RPG destroyed it and then got me. Now the good thing about being here is that because the enemies are moving up, they tend to use the cover that is naturally at A and B, and because of that cover, if you look up from it and the rooftops and the windowsills, you can fire at those with an RPG and then just use that rubble to kill the enemies that are down below. So that becomes really effective later on. And also you want to put the C4 or mines down in the right place, just because that tank is like, that's its only place it can get out into the rest of the map, so it has to go through that point. It's what's known as a choke point, because it basically you know where the tank is going to go, because that's the only place it can go. So it just makes those mines or C4 all that more effective. Now I know I said you can use like an engineer or a support kit, but personally for me, I like to use support kit just because I can set up that bipod and get a lot of like infantry that are there and still have the ability to get that armor. So we've covered the first base, and we've also covered falling back from the first base. Let's move over to the second base. Okay, so once at the second base, you have to make a choice, and the choice is whether to defend A or B. And obviously, you know, if you're working with a clan, you can kind of decide this yourself. You know, half you can split off watch A, half you can split off watch B. But if you're playing on your own and you need to decide which one to watch A and B, we're going to show you how to defend A, basically. So what you want to do is, if you're a support or engineer, just kind of set up inside this tunnel and kind of watch out for enemies. And also if you're an engineer, you can kind of peek out in the road every now and again just to make sure there's no armor coming up, or just to try and get a lucky shot on that rubble I was talking about. But if you're a support, you're going to want to set up inside the tunnel with your bipod up, and if you know there's a tank coming down the road, coming from the spawn, then what you can do is you can flank around like I'm doing here. And because you're a support, you obviously have C4, so you can like blow your way through a few walls. But you want to go up this route and get the tank like I'm showing here, and just C4 him, and then you can run back and check on B, or you can run straight back to A. So that's it for A on the second base. I'm going to show you now how to defend B on the second base. Okay, so defending B on the second base is one of those things where it's a lot easier said than done. And the same goes with the advice that I'm going to give you for this base. It does sound a lot easier than it actually is, because if you're up against a good team, you know, they're going to be fighting really hard to get to that base. So basically, this is mainly why I want to go with a support, is because, as you can see, I can set up a bipod here, and you know, ideally you want a light machine gun with a big magazine, so you can take on multiple enemies. But the RPK works fine as well in this case. But yeah, you just need to set up here and just watch the tunnel, or the tunnel of death as it's known, and just watch that and make sure no enemies come up. But also you need to kind of keep an eye out to your right and behind you, just in case that tank might come up, because there's many occasions where, you know, you'd be firing and then all of a sudden out of nowhere a tank comes up and literally kills everyone who's trying to defend the tunnel of death. And then the people that are trying to come down the tunnel, that are attacking from the tunnel, come down and then eventually get the plant on B. So that's one thing you just need to be wary of when you're watching B. So that's the first and second base done. Let's move on to the third base. Okay, so as you can see here, we did just lose a second base. So what I'm trying to do here now in this position is just trying to kill a few enemies, or as much as I can, just to kind of drain down their tickets basically. Because this is a 200 XP server, I think. So tickets obviously are a lot harder to get down, a lot harder to win. So what you want to do is, if you want to watch the third base from the enemies that come through from A, there's basically a second tunnel here which you can see. And when you're going down the tunnel, you notice there's like a little room in the left, or the right if you're watching from the defender's position. And if you have those C4, if you're playing support, which is another reason why I want to play support on Grand Bazaar, again, if you have that C4, put it in that room, because there will be occasions where enemies run up on you and you'll either run out of ammunition or you just won't hit them at all for some reason, and they will run in that room. So you're going to want to have that C4 inside there just in case they do run in there, so you can just detonate it and then deal with the threat straight away. But mainly you just want to stay up here on these kind of, I don't know what they are, sandbags or cement blocks or whatever, and just set up the bipod again, and then you can watch that position. And the other good thing about this position is that once you're inside this kind of mini tunnel, you can go out either end and then go left and then get the tank, whether it's behind, whether it's like further down by the airbase or it's like right beside you. You can still get out unknown to the tank and set C4 on him and destroy him. And that's really what Grand Bazaar is about. You have to get rid of that armor and then you can start working on the infantry. So that's it for watching this tunnel, and I'm just going to show you another route now. Okay, so this tunnel here, this other tunnel, I'm pretty sure we don't have to say much about this tunnel because we've all been there. We've all either been attacking or defending this tunnel, and you all know how much, like, how many people die trying to come through here. So this is kind of the main and obvious route to defend. And again, just set up your bipod and a light machine gun and watch that tunnel. And also you can run up, even if there's enemies hiding behind the little doorway, you can just throw a C4 in there and kill them. So that's this tunnel, and I'm going to show you one last way to defend on the third base now. Okay, so this third position which I'm going to show you is good if you want to watch that tunnel that I first showed you in the set of incoms that we're at now. The first tunnel I showed you with the C4 and how you can get out the tank. It's good for watching enemies that come up through there if you eventually lose that tunnel. And it's also really good for watching enemies that come down the road, and also watching enemies that try and go in and plant at A. Because in theory, if you have a light machine gun up there, there's no one who's going to go in and plant at A. So I know it's kind of hard to see here, and I didn't really get any good footage of it, and I'm sorry for that, but it's just really hard to kind of get up there. You really want to kind of spawn in here at the start of the round instead of doing what I did and try to walk up there halfway through, because their tank already moved up, and as you could see, I was under heavy fire, so it was really hard for me to kind of get set up on a bipod. And also they had blown away a lot of the kind of metal sheets that were protecting the overpass, and you can use those for cover as well, which is another good thing about this route. So that's the first, second and third base. Now let's get on to the final base. And for the final base, I'm only going to show you how to defend A, simply because, I mean, if you get to this stage of the game, like if you get to the last base while defending, you pretty much have the game lost. And honestly, B is just completely unrealistic in thinking that you can survive and finish the whole game by watching B itself. I mean, it's really, once you get to this stage, you might as well accept the fact you're going to lose. But I did want to let you know about this little place here, this little tunnel. And basically what you want to do is set C4 up on the wall beside it like that, so when enemies come by, they're not going to see it, they're not going to expect it, and then when you see them, just obviously detonate it. Now I didn't get a chance to in this clip because the enemies came up on me a lot sooner than I thought they would. But if you notice there's like a rock behind it, you can set up your bipod there, and also people make the mistake of setting the bipod up inside the tunnel. And you don't want to do that because from there you can see the road, which means if there's a tank on the road, it can also see you and fire inside. So that's it for this episode, guys. Please be sure to leave a like and favourite down below. And also, if you want to see me do this video about a different map, any map at all, I have all the map packs, so it really doesn't matter. Then be sure to leave a comment down below, and I will pick the top rated comment about a day after this is uploaded. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed, and I really hope this helped you out with your defending on Rush. And hopefully, if you meet in the server someday, you'll do the tactics I said, and hopefully you win the game. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you soon. Bye.